Well, welcome back. I'm John Wilson, and this little channel is going to hopefully be able to share some wisdom as it relates to digital dentistry and dental technology as a whole. You know, I've been a dental technician for close to 40 years now, and in the last 15, almost 20 years, some semblance of digital technology has been utilized in my laboratory to move forward and produce some of these bigger all-on-X style cases. And as a classically trained 3Shape designer and somebody that embraced 3Shape as their entire ecosystem, I'm constantly looking to improve some of the things that are coming out of the 3Shape program and utilizing additional third-party programs to hopefully fill the gaps. Well, in my laboratory, I utilize a program called MESHMIXER, and I'm going to just show you a couple little tips inside of MESHMIXER that can hopefully make your life a little bit easier and share some thoughts as it relates to reductive technology and are moving towards the additive technology as the default processing for these bigger transitional appliances. So let's just jump right into MESHMIXER here. So if you're familiar with this program, we're going to go ahead and import an arch form in, and I'm going to talk a little bit about it. So in my laboratory, as mentioned, I use 3Shape. And prior to utilizing the denture designer and the wax up bridge workflow, I was doing everything in the crown and bridge module, which has its own set of challenges and rewards. But utilizing the denture designer has been a really big win for me. It's a bit quicker, a bit more predictable. In the end, I can utilize them to connect the dots easily by preserving my pre-surgical coordinates and bringing in my surgical coordinates and connecting the dots and making some tie-base fixed restorations. So some of the challenges with 3Shape as it booleans a monoblock together from the design library of the teeth to the gingival contours that you've morphed, you're going to have dissimilar mesh densities. And when we turn the wireframe on by pushing W on your keyboard, you can see that we have a much denser mesh for the tooth library than the gingiva is formed. And when that happens, the face and vertices as they come together are not going to align as precisely. And you know, I say we have some pissed off triangles. So how do we get around that? Let's go ahead and turn the wireframe off and look at some of the mesh tools inside of here and look at some of the sculpts that we can utilize. So if you're familiar with the brushes inside here, the most common one is the refine, and I'm going to turn the power down here, and very quickly, let's pull down a little bit more on the size here, and very quickly, I'm just going to join this together. I'll just do one tooth real quick, just quick, straight across, and now let's turn the wireframe on and see what happened. So you can see very clearly, very dense mesh came in, lots of triangles. We've smoothed that together. But when we turn the wireframe off and look rather closely, we started to lose some of that detail. Well, that's counterintuitive for why I'm trying to talk about this. So when you look at the pattern overall, and we're looking at what we're trying to improve, you know, some might say, well, it's inconsequential. And for a lot of that, it's actually correct. For reductive technology, the mill is never going to be able to precisely mill certain things here unless you manage your pattern to match the burr radius that you're going to utilize in those areas as it's milling. Where this is going to become that much more relevant is in additive technology. When we're printing these things, and as we move forward and printing becomes the default path for these prototypes, it's really going to be very advantageous to have the cleanest patterns that you possibly can. It's going to make a huge difference as we jump into multicolored printing in the future. So I'm not just thinking about what is going to help me today, but I'm trying to think smarter about what's going to happen as we move forward. So let's talk about some of the other sculpt tools and how I can bull this up a little bit more. Now that I got this smooth and it's not jagged, I'd like to make it that much more refined. So we're going to go into the sculpt and we're going to go into the brushes, and I'm going to utilize this tool right here called pinch. This pinch tool, I have more or less learned of it recently, and I'm going to show you what it can do. So you put the little red dot in there and you hold the mouse button down and you pull it around, and watch how sharp this is making this demarcation between the tooth library and the gingiva. Very quickly, I'm just holding it down, trying to draw as smooth as possible with my mouse. If you design on a tablet with a stylus, this could be super powerful as well. But you can see I'm just holding down the mouse button and rolling around the tooth. And now let's look at that transition and how sharp that is. Can you imagine if you put the size up and radiused it perfect to your smallest burr that you're going to get to? Well, you'd be able to make this pattern perfectly replicated in the cam if you're utilizing those techniques. Can you imagine what you could do in joints like this? And it's just an amazing tool to be able to come back and clean things. And get off of that real quick. So again, I just want to share a couple little things here about MESHMIXER and what it does for me. You know, a lot of people would say, well, John, why don't you just join the whole pattern, go back in here and remesh and see what's going to happen to the wireframe. Well, I'm here to tell you that you can preserve all the sharp corners. You can make a linear subdivision here. All it's going to do is going to add more triangles. It's not going to refine the mesh, and if it's going to do anything, it's going to degrade those corners. So the only way you can get this type of detail that I've found is with utilizing those tools. Another really popular program today that's coming on board is Blender for Dental. Blender is a really powerful program. It's very difficult to learn from the start. But once you pick and choose some of the things that can benefit you, it really makes a huge difference. But as it relates to this today, it's just one quick little tip to utilize two tools inside a MESHMIXER that can make a real difference in your patterns. So again, guys, I'm going to make these short quick tips and trick videos and share some of the things that I do and some of my thoughts as it relates to digital dentistry. And the real powerful takeaway today is try to think past what your challenges are today and think about how you can influence your success tomorrow, utilizing really sound principles and exciting new things that are going to be coming forward. So again, please take a minute. If you got to the end of this video, please hit that like button and the subscribe button and leave a comment down below to tell me what you think of this type of content. I'm really excited. I'm one of those guys. I'm not going to do fluffy videos that are going to have perfect edits. This is a one and done situation. I run through this thing in 5 to 10 minutes and just spew what I have to say, and hopefully we get something that is of value. So again, thanks so much for stopping by. I am so happy you did, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. All right, have a great day. Happy New Year to you all.